didn't know you were wanting to.
I did it. We're just goofing up. We are on, what would you call it? Day 2.5. Oh, look at all the hearts. Day 2.5 of our trip.
Day 2.5, yeah.
It's kind of day 2.5. Why is it day 2.5?
Because we drove all night, Friday night.
The first night.
The first night. So we left our house at
9 p.m.
9 p.m. and just drove until basically
last night.
Yeah.
the first
9 p.m. last night.
Yeah. The first like 24 hours we were in the car.
Or
on the side of the road.
In the car.
But, so we left our house around 9 o'clock to go on this epic road trip. That we've wanted to do
for a long time,
forever. One of our very first stops was probably the most expensive gas that we've had so far. Where was that at?
In Ellensburg, I think.
Ellensburg, Washington. How much was that?
I think it was like $5.89.
$5.89.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
Pretty high for gas.
Yeah, so we had gas, got gas, and then we drove all night through past Spokane, through Coeur d'Alene, and then, which the guy at the Coeur d'Alene gas station like made my evening because he gave me free coffee.
Yeah. That's right.
I really think it was because we had cash and he didn't want to count out change, but you know, hey, I got free coffee, and which was kind of fun. We were joking that it was probably like close to his end of the shift, and nobody probably had paid cash the whole time, so he didn't want to have to count out his till. But I don't know what the reason was, but it was free coffee at midnight in Coeur d'Alene.
And was it midnight or was it later than that?
Oh, it was later than that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It would have been
like 2 a.m.
It would have been.
I don't know. It was like. Oh yeah, 5 hours after we left home. I don't remember. It was after
like 2 or 3 in the morning. Yeah.
Anyways, it was in the middle of the night, and I was driving, and then we drove through 4th of July Pass in Idaho, and oh my goodness, like I've done that pass one other time with everybody in the family sleeping in the car at night, and it was no big deal. Mm-hmm. And that time it was no big deal, but this time, oh my gosh. And it was like, I was scared to be driving, but I also would have been scared being the passenger in the car because it was so scary. And so I was glad that Mike let me keep driving, because I kept debating whether or not I wanted to pull over and let him drive or just keep driving. But it was raining so hard. Yeah. And there was construction, and there was no shoulders, and you couldn't see the lines on the road, and there was big trucks, and the what are those called?
There was lots of ruts in the road.
And
like the road conditions just weren't good at all. It was so like standing water. It was pretty rough. Yeah,
we kept hydroplaning.
Doing like at least 20 under the speed limit.
Oh yeah. The speed limit was 80. And then I had it marked down to...
I don't think there it was.
Whatever. They had it marked down to 65 for the construction zone. I was going like 45. It was crazy. Yeah. I was going way under the speed limit. There is no way. Yeah, that was crazy. So we were so glad when we got up over that pass and the lines started showing up on the road again, like all of the things.
When the rain stopped, that helped.
And the rain stopped, yeah. But we kept driving, and we drove all the way to Bozeman, Montana.
Yep.
Which is kind of fun. And we met at a restaurant called Jam.
Exclamation point, Jam.
Yeah, Jam in Bozeman, which was really great. And there, so we've been in the car for at least 12 hours at that point. Mm-hmm. And then there we met Chanel and her daughter, and it was really exciting because she was one of the very first followers that we had way back in September, who suggested that maybe I should do live kitchen demos. And I was just like, oh, I never thought about that. And so she had kind of planted that seed in my head to do these live kitchen demos. And then just a couple weeks later, is when another friend that was local to me had suggested that I should start doing live kitchen demos and teaching how to wash the produce and stuff. And then we scheduled that first live, like, local group of getting together to do a live kitchen demo, which is our very first YouTube video. If you go back on our Cross Legacy page to our YouTube page, then you can see that very first live demo that I did way back last fall. But all of that happened before we had went viral, before anybody like knew us. So even the day that I first talked to Chanel and she was recommending that I should do this, I was like, oh, look, I hit 2,000 people on Instagram today. Like, it was so exciting that, you know, way back in September, it was 2,000 people and I was so excited. And here she was giving me ideas way back in September how to grow our Instagram. And now we have 105,000 followers. It's just unbelievable. But we got to spend the morning with her and check out Bozeman and go to some of the stores and he collects stickers wherever we are. So you got some Montana stickers. Yeah. And then we got in the car and our goal was to get in the car and get back on I-90 and drive to Gillette yesterday. Like, that was our goal. And we got an hour out of Bozeman.
Well, I don't know. We were about 45 minutes. We had another 45 minutes to go until we hit Billings.
Oh, okay. Anyway, we're in the middle of nowhere. We were on the freeway, and all of a sudden there was like this weird little sound, and I thought maybe we hit a bird or something. It sounded like a little fluttery on my side of the car. I wasn't sure. And then I'm like, is everything okay? Like, what's going on? And he was like, no, Mike was driving. He's like, there's definitely something is not right. And we are like on I-90, like there are semi trucks going by us. And so we pull over to the side of the freeway and he's like getting out, and that's like scaring me to death that he's getting out and opening the hood and looking underneath the car. And I'm just like,
what you're supposed to look like.
I don't know. I was just so worried like we were going to get hit while he was out of the car.
We were off the shoulder, just to clarify.
We
There's
are off
like
the shoulder.
edge of the lane, the shoulder. We were off of the shoulder. We were as far over as we could go.
You have so many stories about people on the freeway.
Well, my stories are people like that are in the lane stopped.
Still,
like, we were
like,
way off.
No, I was still a nervous wreck. So we had to call tow truck, and so we thought we had done all the service, everything possible on our car before we had left. And
it turns out I forgot something to have them check or to get replaced or whatever. So,
but yeah, so it was like an hour wait at the beginning for the tow truck to come, and then we were calling and we were just like, where is he at, what's going on? And then it was like another hour or so, and oh my goodness, it started at like 1:28 is when he first called the mechanic shop, and they were supposed to close at 2 o'clock, and it was a 45-minute drive from where we were. And he was like, oh, you know, if you can get here, like, I'll stay a little bit. This mechanic was the most amazing person ever. He ended up at one point offering to come to us, which we were 45 minutes away from his shop. He offered to get the tools, and we were pretty sure it was the
serpentine belt.
Yeah, and so
because when I was driving, I lost power steering. The charging system went out. Like, it was just like everything seemed, air conditioning stopped, like everything stopped.
Yeah, so he was soaked. What was his name? Tom. He was so amazing. He ended up waiting like over 3 hours after his shop closed to make sure that we got there, and he fixed our car. He was absolutely amazing. Like, we were just blown away. So if you ever need a mechanic in, was it Billings? Billings, Montana. What was the name? You got to do all the names.
Top Tech West.
Yeah, there you go. Top Tech West. He was just so amazing. So amazing. And so we're just totally blessed, because we would have been stuck in town until Monday there and not getting to go do the rest of our epic road trip
Yeah.
today, which was quite of an adventure.
Yeah, today was another adventure. But just real quickly, the tow truck driver, his name was also Mike. His name, Michael, but he went by Mike. And his name was also spelled uniquely. Mine is unique in that there's no A in my name. Normally, Michael's spelled Michael. His name was spelled Micheal. And it was just kind of funny that both of our names were Michael.
I'm sitting in the middle of this truck and I have one weird spelling Michael and another weird spelling Michael. Like, what are the odds of that? There's two Michaels in one tow truck and both of their names are spelled differently wrong, which was just funny. Yeah. So there was somebody that commented that they saw us, or they saw me on the Canadian TV show the other day, which was kind of fun. Today, we met somebody on the side of the road, but we met somebody today and they had, they were from Canada. They were like, "Oh, are you Americans?" And then said they were from Canada. And I was just like, "Oh, I was on the show." And they were like, "What?" And so anyways, it was kind of fun. And then she took a picture of me. So, you're kind of,
paparazzi.
I know, people are starting to get to know you and they start wanting to take a picture with you.
So the mechanic was amazing. We got the car fixed and we're back on the road realistically, it was hours from the time we broke down the side of the road to we're back on the road. Yeah, it was like probably what,
like
4 or 5 hours, something like that. But that is like record speed when you're dealing with having to diagnose a problem and get parts, go and fix it. And it was amazing. Everything worked out perfectly. So anyways, we got the car fixed and we're on the road. And we went to, we were in Gillette, Wyoming.
Yep, that's where we stayed last night.
Yeah, we rolled into Gillette late at night and then literally just crashed.
We did.
I mean, not literally.
We don't say crash. No.
Yeah, we fell asleep very quickly.
Yes.
And then from Gillette, we went to Devil's Tower.
Yeah, this morning we went to Devil's Tower.
Which was really fun. So we went there, went to this little shop. I swear, it was the same. I don't know. It looked they had like this section that I remember. There was like Fool's Gold there, these rocks and like different things. I remember going to like a little shop when I was like 12 years old or something like that. And I might have been the same one. Who knows? But it was fun. I remember going there. And so we went to the shop and, by the way, they were super cool there too because they gave us like all these directions and were like helping us out and talking to us about just whatever like locally was going on. So we went to Devil's Tower and amazing.
It's kind of hot out.
It is like pretty warm, and it is so like when you're looking at it, like you can see a picture of it, but when you're looking at it, it is humongous. It's like this huge like rock formation. Is just so cool. What else did we see at there?
We like walked around.
Oh, yeah.
Like we did the hike at the base and stuff. It was kind of interesting. Like going to see that, like, well, at first I was like, we're near Mount Rainier. So Mount Rainier is so big and beautiful. I was like, this is like one little thing. Like I didn't even know if we would want to stop for a while and check it out. But we totally like spent like a couple hours there between going to like the trading post and doing the hike and going into the ranger station and all the things. But it was really nice. And
you can see it from far away too. And then when you get even closer, you're literally like at the base of the tower and it's like right there. It's just amazing. I mean, it's kind of like when we look at Mount Rainier, it's the same thing, but you're even closer.
And then we ended up driving a little bit out of the way, like a scenic drive for it, and then sat on the back of our car and had a picnic. So I was glad that we had packed so much food. I had packed a lot of food for the trip to make sandwiches and different things. And I also had brought, just in case, but I had brought like a little camp stove if we needed that, and some different quick meal options in a pot, and water and different things. So if we did get stuck somewhere, we had plenty of food in the car. We had backups to our backups is what I always say in the car. Like I always say anywhere, but when we go on a trip, like making sure we have a backup to the backup for whatever thing we might be dealing with. But when we were leaving Devil's Tower, we stopped back at that trading post just one more time.
I wanted some ice cream. I'm either like gonna dig into the snacks that we have that we didn't really want to open, or I'm gonna stop and get some ice cream because I knew they had ice cream cones at this shop.
Right.
So, but it turns out it saved the day.
It kind of saved the day. But before it saved the day, he hands me his ice cream, which I didn't want any ice cream. And he's like, can you hold this while I go to the bathroom? And I'm like, I totally did not get ice cream from him. So he's making me hold the ice cream. And I'm like, all right, well, if I'm going to hold the ice cream, I'm going to go sit out on this bench that was out front. And it was really nice. And just kind of take in the view and all the things. And so I'm sitting there holding the ice cream. And all of a sudden I'm getting these warnings on my phone. Yeah. And that was a little scary. And when we had pulled up, we had noticed that the employees were looking at something. And
they were outside pointing, doing stuff.
Yeah.
And we were looking at, looked like great weather. We
didn't know if they had saw an animal or
if
somebody had shoplifted or what was going on. And so we didn't really pay attention to what they were doing. Well, they knew that there was a storm coming in before we realized that there was a storm coming in. And so that warning, the first warning that came on our phone was saying, was it golf size hail that was coming?
And golf ball size. And then the employees were telling me that there were baseball size hail coming, plus tornado warning.
Oh, the tornado warning didn't come first. It was the hail and the thunder. And so they were moving their cars across the street underneath these trees. And one of the guys there was already saying, well, his windshield was already busted from the last thunderstorm or hailstorm. And so anyways, we were like, oh my goodness, and they were offering for us to try to get our car safer and to stay and all the things. And we were planning on, we had the directions. We were supposed to go back through Spearfish Canyon. And we had it all planned out. That was the way we were supposed to go. Well, it would have taken us directly into the storm. Yeah. Directly into the storm. And then by then we were starting to get tornado warnings. And it's just we don't have tornadoes where we live. That was a new warning that ever came on my phone. High winds, we're used to that, but not, cover your car. There's going to be severe damage, those kind of things. And so then we go, we were talking to them and they showed us a different way to leave that was away from the storm. And the best way to do that was to try to get back to the place that we were staying as quickly as we could, which was also kind of funny because when I was booking this Airbnb, it had mentioned that they had a garage and it was fun and for the garage. We were okay, it's June, we're not going to need the garage for inclement weather because I was thinking snow. I never even thought that we would need the garage to protect ourselves from the car from this hailstorm. And so when it finally did start hailing here, it you can see now it's just starting to get dark sunset, but it was totally just daylight, and then all of a sudden it was night and it was hailing crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention and I heard this I thought Amy dropped something and then it was totally everything I thought fell off onto the floor from the counter or something. But I'm are you okay? What is that? She's no, it's hailing outside. I look up, oh my goodness. Yeah. It was ridiculous. There was we didn't have golf ball size ones here, but they were pretty big. They were smaller than one of those bouncy balls.
Grapes. They were bigger than grapes.
Grapes. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah. Or strawberry size.
Oh yeah, they were strawberry size. But I was standing by the window and it was hitting the window so hard I was worried that the glass was going to break, and so I ended up moving away from it because I was a little relieved that I'm not the homeowner. So if it did break the window, it wouldn't have been my window. But
we wouldn't have broke it.
No, but I meant the hail. Yeah. No. We are the best Airbnb people ever. So you want us to stay at your Airbnb. But anyways, yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on. So tomorrow we're going to go to Deadwood, which should be fun.
In the town, yeah.
Yeah, the town.
Maybe see a live reenactment or something like that.
Yeah, there's supposed to be some like cowboy things that they do there. And then we'll check out Spearfish Canyon. But I was going to say, I was super glad that I had packed all this food because I had what we needed to make dinner and we didn't have to go out during a tornado warning. And
I totally thought, once we got here, I thought we were far enough away that I was like, so I'm like, so do you want to go out to dinner or what? And she's like, what? Did you not pay attention? I'm like, oh, I thought, and then all of a sudden it's like 2 hailstorms came through. One was had big ones, and then the other one, like little, they were smaller. They were more like
pellets.
Like pea size to maybe like grape size, but they were solid white instead of like clear ice, which is, I don't know. It was just interesting. But so yeah, it was nice that we were able to just stay here and not have to worry about it. We had plenty of food and water and stuff like
all
that.
The things.
Yeah,
so
everything.
I was charging my phone as soon as all that started, just in case we lost power, and we brought in flashlights because we're prepared for everything. So we brought in flashlights just in case we did lose power and all those things. But yeah, it was interesting. It went from being like 80 degrees and nice out to all of a sudden it was a storm. But we're just used to living in the Seattle area and it just being crappy weather for 10 months.
Either it's nice or it's raining.
Right.
And it had been rainy for months.
Yeah. So
a couple days of nice in there, but for the most part it was pretty rainy.
Pretty rainy. Anyways, we are going to be exploring here for the next couple days, and as we have more adventures, we will tell you about them. But we did bring a lot of road trip kind of snacks and food that we filled up the fridge. We haven't been to the grocery store. We brought a bunch of stuff from home, so we were able to eat snacks and lunch and breakfast and all those kind of things and not have to go out for all the meals. Anyways, that is us from checking in from South Dakota. So, on day 2.5 of our trip. So we will be checking in and showing more pictures. My stories are just going to have tons and tons of pictures for the next couple weeks as we are on this trip and bringing you guys along on this adventure. So have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.